man. I don't eat out as much.
I was just gonna say, do you go out to dinner?
I'm a creature of habit. Like I eat the same thing every day.
What is that?
All the time. I'll like on a weekday I'll eat egg whites, ham, avocado, protein shake. Then I have protein shake, and then I have protein shake, beef, corn.
We are not looking to Ryan for fun restaurants to go out to.
Welcome to the podcast.
Yes, the first. All right. Who's going to start?
How was your day?
Oh, man. Mondays are a lot, you know?
Yeah, I did.
Mondays are always a lot.
Catch up, yeah.
Yeah, it's catch up, but everybody's back from the weekend, and especially like the Monday after spring break. You know, they're all back. They're all like, I've decided to ruin your life.
Yeah.
You know, in like some way, shape, or form.
We deal with sellers on Monday morning after all the open houses.
Yeah.
Feedback. How come no one showed up? And the
feedback
rain,
day.
the sun. I mean, how many
Like
excuses
it's
can
been
you
on the
come up
market
with?
for 4 days. Calm down.
It's only the first weekend, but it's just, handheld. It's just a lot of mind therapy.
Yeah, my initial training in real estate, honestly, was like, no one's going to give you a listing because
Right.
you're brand new to the business. So be the open house person who sits at open houses for cheap stuff. You're not going to get paid, but you're going to get the open house sign-in sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone that doesn't want to go there, you can take those people elsewhere. That's kind of how the business would work. And then your Mondays were spent following up with all those people and sending them other stuff, kind of scrounging the market for off markets to see if you could actually show your value. I think it's a little bit harder today because everything is so public.
I know.
It's a little bit, it's much hard, which is why we push, brand emphasis so much because
Right.
it's like you gotta have your hook. Otherwise the audience has so much noise to kind of cut through.
I agree, but also open houses is a great opportunity to become a listing agent. Because if you keep doing the same open house in your farm area, same town and next town, you'll bump into the same people week after week. So
Especially in
while
the
the other
suburbs.
agents who they think is work for them is not around, they see you. I want to sell my house first. Well, how about if I show up at 3:30 after here, I'll come over. And if you're not active, to me, it helped me get my foot in the door with the community with listing agents.
Yeah.
My open house is more advantageous for me than it was for the sellers.
Yeah.
We are celebrating our podcast launch with Ryan Serhant's Impact. Welcome to the debut episode of Off Market with the Adamos. This is Real Estate Unfiltered, where we dive into real estate, family, and what it takes to thrive in this competitive industry. Off Market is on the road today, and we are here at SoHo Serhant, kicking things off with the powerhouse guest, our CEO, the one and only Ryan.
Welcome, Ryan.
Okay.
Yay!
Yay. Round of applause.
Okay, we have
Debut.
audience. Good, let's go.
Let's
First
do
of
it.
all, congratulations, Ryan, on the launch of Serhant, Arizona, not to mention in Naples. Seeing Serhant enter many new markets, we're incredibly excited for you, but what are you going through with all of this? Because what kind of a high you on? And what are other markets that we can talk about today?
We're opening our Naples office on Thursday. So depending on when this comes out, we will probably have just done it. Arizona will do our launch in a couple weeks. There's other markets we're looking into. That makes sense. Like it's kind of like anything, right? There's where I think we have a good value prop in some markets, but we also don't have a good value prop in other markets.
But you'll get there.
It depends.
What
Like
would the other markets be that you
less
wouldn't-
expensive.
Okay, yeah.
Like it's if your average home sale price is $350,000,
Right.
It's okay, it's fine. That's a majority of the United States.
Right.
That's hard. It's harder to prove value there. You end up being more of like an e-commerce site, and those agents do a couple deals a year. It's just a different experience.
Right.
So like I like being in the luxury and the attainable luxury space.
Yeah.
Right, which can in some markets be $500,000, other markets can be $5 million. But I think I'm physically okay. I'm mentally falling apart.
I have a good therapist.
But I put on a good face.
I think you're doing good. You're okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So if Soho was your first office, correct?
Yeah.
What was your first branch outside of New York City?
The first branch outside New York City was in the Hamptons.
Hamptons. How's that? How many years now? 3?
This summer will be 21, 2, 3, 4. Oh my gosh, it'll be 4.
4.
Wow.
Yeah, because we opened
So
in
you
the
did that
summer.
right away.
Let me think. You know what? You might be right.
I was more like 3.
It's
3 and a
3.
half.
You're right. It was July of 22. That whole COVID timeline was a
Yeah.
little funky because
Yeah.
we were in the townhouse for a year, September to September 21. We moved in here in September of 2021, and it was that next summer that we went out into the Hamptons in Long Island.
And how many agents do they have out there in that
In the
office?
Hamptons? I don't know. It's not that many. We very
Well,
much
quality,
focus on
right?
quality more
Right.
than anything. It's not about the number of people who do fewer deals. It's the fewer people who do the most deals.
Well, let me rephrase that
I think it's
question.
30, I think.
How about the market share?
Market share. Okay, listen. I should have been prepared.
Oh, it's okay. No, let's just an honest number.
I don't know what our market share is in the Hamptons. It's growing.
Okay,
I'll
I like
say
that answer.
I'll say it's
All right.
it's growing. We definitely. I mean, we're relatively pretty fresh and new. We're opening up 2 new offices out there in the near term, which is exciting and growing out
Can
there
you give us a hint of where?
in Bridgehampton and
Nice.
West Hampton.
Nice.
Is the plan
It's,
right
and it's
now?
all related to New York City, New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as a
exactly.
side note, we're about to enter a 1-year anniversary year.
Yes.
It all started in this room.
It
That's
did.
right. It brought back memories when I walked in.
He
Good
had some
memories.
PTSD. I'm kidding.
Did you say PTSD? It's like
No,
No.
actually, it's changed when
this is
we're
where I
here.
punched the wall.
No, we're really excited that our 1 year is coming up.
We are.
It was a
A
wild
lot.
ride.
I know.
Just because
been
there's a lot going on in 1 year.
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
You weren't
But
even married yet.
I wasn't married yet. We were planning a launch, a total transition to
Yeah.
a new
I loved your
broker.
party. That was crazy.
Yeah.
it was
Fireworks.
nuts. Wish you
Everything.
were there. Yeah.
Well, at the
No,
wedding, no,
he's
no,
talking
no.
about
Oh,
the
that
launch
party. Oh, that was crazy.
That was the
too,
second
yeah.
wedding. The first
You
wedding.
actually stayed a long time.
I did stay a long time.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
compliment.
you fed me food. It was great.
Well, we have backyard pizza there.
We have good
That's,
food.
I know. I
That's
stayed
right.
by there.
Backyard Pizza Dad. We have great food in Jersey.
Yes.
Okay, so with that said, we've been with Serhant for almost a year, and when we first signed on with you, we learned about the Serhant effect, and it has been undeniable. And so I want to know, how do you think aligning with Serhant brands has elevated our team, and what are the key elements to building a lasting brand like yours? As we're trying, on a local level, we have done that with the Adamo group, and now that we're aligned with you, how can we go bigger?
I like to think about it as matching hyper local experience with global influence.
Right.
So local experience meets global influence, which combined creates a know, like, and trust factor, right? Like when you're working, especially in the luxury space, okay, where now I think nationally the average days on market as of last Friday is like 100, which is the first time it's been that way.
100?
100.
Oh, we'll beating those records in Jersey.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Jersey's a little bubble.
Yeah, but over the past like 4 years,
Right.
since COVID, the average days on market in most territories is like 7. It's fast.
Yeah.
Right.
It's fast.
Crazy.
But it's slowed down. Rates are still high. There's a lot of global turmoil. Things are happening in the world. But I think if you have great local market expertise, right, and you combine that with a fun, new, known, liked, and trusted brand, then you have a great recipe for success. And what I like about what we're doing, to your point about the Hamptons and other markets that we're going into, there is no gun to any of our heads to grow. It's to provide the best service.
Right.
And if the best service means that we can provide more great service to more people, then let's go do that.
So it's more like organic the way it's just evolving.
It's all
think-
been organic.
yeah.
I think our competitors, for the most part, buy revenue. For us, we really, really earn it, right? So where everyone else is buying their revenue to grow market share, we earn it, which means we will always grow a little bit slower, which I am okay with, right? Because you end up doing
So
it
steady.
the right way.
Yeah.
I think you're creating that demand for the expansion too. Like as people are seeing Serhant and how it's exploding, they want that in their area as well.
Yeah, I hope so. Thanks.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. We met with somebody in Saddle River yesterday. We're getting a new listing there.
Nice.
And she's like, I'm going to sell in 2 to 3 years in Mantoloking. Are you guys there? And we're like, yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you're exactly there yet, but we will be.
Mantoloking?
Oh,
It
you'll
is
love Mantoloking.
a
It's
small
nice.
section of
Jersey
the
Shore.
Jersey Shore,
Okay.
which but it's like comparable to the Hamptons in terms of the homes there. It is gorgeous.
Okay, got it.
So this home that I'm
The answer
talking
is
about
yes.
is 20 to 30 million.
Nice.
It's like an estate. It looks like a boutique hotel.
That's
And
awesome.
she's like, "Can you guys handle?" I'm like, "Ryan will love this.
We're
This
like,
is the price
absolutely.
point that he loves."
yeah.
That you will personally appear
This
at
is
this house.
expensive, right?
Yes.
I love this.
Beachfront, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to switch gears to a little bit more personal, but still business. The father-daughter dynamic. As we, I think, are your only father-daughter team at Serhant.
I know of one other that's here in the city.
Okay.
That I know of that's like active every single day.
Oh, that's great.
But you guys were the first.
The first,
Yes,
Good.
for sure.
and not the last.
Oh yeah, I
Right.
don't know. I think it's I love the family dynamic.
Yeah.
I love it when people I love it when you work together, right? It's kind of we have to make it work.
Right.
Right.
Well, Ryan, you're a dad, so you understand the delicate between balancing family and business. What's been your biggest lesson you've learned in managing both? You wear a lot of hats, but those are two big hats.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm an okay dad. You know, I'm not like Mr. Dad. My little brother is Mr. Dad. My older brother is Mr. Dad.
Why do you say that?
They each have lots of kids. They're like they do school drop off, they do school pickup. They're at all the sports games on the weekends. Like they work so that they can live, instead of what I feel like I do a lot of the times, and maybe all of us in sales, which is like we live almost so that we can work, so that we can then have the opportunity to have some life.
Exactly.
Right.
And I don't know which one is right. I try with Zena to lead by example as best I can, and she just hit that age where she can actually come to the office. So like she can roll in and I wouldn't be nervous, right? She's
Right.
6 now. Like if she were here right now, she could be over here. She could
Right.
be sitting right here. You know, she's cute. She's funny. She's crazy. She's like me, you know.
Love
and
Not Amelia? A little bit?
Amelia's a bit more reserved, depending, you know, on the situation.
Okay, let's play that safe today.
Yeah. But listen, I think if if Zena turns out to be a great girl, it's all because of my wife and Yaya, who lives with us.
I love that.
Right.
And the example you're setting, which is important. We're celebrating 40 years coming up in June that he's in the business.
Nice.
And I'm going through old photos to find, like from the 90s, of his first building, the Adamo building.
Crazy.
And
Yeah.
I was, like
crazy.
6 years old, sitting in the office with those big phones and the big Mac computers that just came out. Like I grew up only knowing real estate. So your daughter's growing up surrounded by the real estate world. Do you see the Serhant brand becoming a family business one day? Or could you see yourself partnering with her in the future?
I asked her what she wants to be when she grew up the other day, and she said she wanted to be a police officer so she could put me in jail. Without a laugh. Like dead serious.
I asked Victoria that when she was young, she said, "I want to be a cash register person." I'm like, "No, you don't."
At ShopRite specifically.
ShopRite.
Nice.
I talked her out of it.
I don't know. I think we all want what's best for our kids, whatever's going to make them happy.
Right.
You know, it's kind of it's a similar thing that I say to every agent who works here, right? That I want them all to like don't try to be me, right? Because I didn't even try to be me. It just sort of
Well, you got to
it's just
discover yourself.
Yeah, you got to discover
Right.
yourself, and you got to find that product market fit and do what works well. If you end up being the person to do the beach houses, go do that. Don't be upset that you're doing beach houses because you're not doing penthouses in Manhattan. Maybe that's not supposed to be for you. Your goal is to be successful and happy, right? And have a great balance so that you can not live a life full of I should-haves and I would-haves and I could-haves. So we'll see what Zena wants to do. I don't necessarily know if this is going to be a family business. I don't have any family that works with us. I always was nervous about hiring friends and family because I didn't want to have to work with people that I felt nervous to fire.
Yes, I agree. I was bad at that.
Yeah, I don't know how. I don't even know how you two work together so well.
It took
For
her
sure.
about a year, and we're like really good now.
Are you?
Yeah.
No, the
But I want to go back to what you
Yeah.
said earlier. You're more interested in okay, Dad. Like in real estate, your schedule's so demanding.
Yeah.
But I never missed any of the games. I mean, I've been focused half of the time while I was there, but
No, the
I didn't
phone
miss
was
the games
glued
I
to
was
his
there and
ear.
stuff. And I used to say to the family, "Hey, it's the hours I'm working at get you those summer vacations and that you want to go to. So just let me do what I have to do." So they turn out great, as you can see at the end. They find their way, and they'll make you proud.
I came
and
back
you won't have any
home.
guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd leave the city. And I think it was during COVID, like you said, that time kind of made everybody rethink.
Yeah.
And I had a big epiphany one day of why am I not grabbing the low-hanging fruit, but not only that, I didn't want to see the legacy or what my dad built for 40 years kind of just die.
Yeah.
And the older I get, like I'm attached to my parents. Like we spend so much time with them. I make my husband do everything with them. And
I will say like that's the one thing that I do find very, very alluring. Like, Amelia's an attorney, right? And now that Zena is 6, like I think we talked about it before. I mean, she never actually did it, but now is gonna, I think, get her real estate license because she's an attorney.
Right.
And she's just friends that
They
are
actually
moving
even need
all
a
over the
license.
place. Yeah, but you just have to fill in the application
Right.
and kind of do that, which she submitted, which is like kind of fun. I'm like, wait a minute, are you gonna come do onboarding? Like, who's gonna train you?
Right.
Wait, I
Do
see
you
the
have to be
family
an-
business
Do you have
starting.
to be an apprentice to a team? Like,
Are you my assistant?
how is this gonna work? But I do like the idea. Like, if Zena wanted to do this, like I would get to see her all the
That's
time.
true.
Right? Which is like the benefit you guys
Right.
have all day long. Otherwise, you're budgeting time.
Can I tell
Right.
you my first month, like working with dad? We're sitting at the table. This was in the old office, and he will not eat if someone doesn't tell him like to eat because he just won't remember. Like he'll just keep going. So when I came around, I started bringing him lunch, and I put a lunch in front of him, and he's on the phone and he's talking, and he gives me his plate when he's done. And I was like, I'm not here to clean up your lunch plate. But we do spend a lot of time together. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It is.
And we have fun. I mean, sure, we fight along the way, but it's entertaining for everybody else to watch us fight, apparently. Evan has a lot of footage of that.
Why is she crying?
People always say, how does it to work with your daughter? My answer is, I get to see her every day.
Yeah.
So that's the best part.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Anyway, let's make this about you.
Okay. So we're going to switch to social media, content, and creation, the future of real estate. Back in the day, I would say I had, I worked on some other $1 million listing teams.
Yeah.
And I had a pretty good insight to how social media was the way of the industry.
Yep.
So that's what I wanted to come over, and when I partnered with Dad to really bring, that Jersey wasn't really caught on yet to teams or social media.
Even with teams, it took years before New
Years.
Jersey caught on with teams.
Like
New York was like
I feel
a
like it was
decade ahead of us
prestigious
with
to
that.
do that in New York, and in Jersey they were like, what, like a team?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but anyway, back to social media. The last few pitches we've gone on, he just uses your line, which I love, about how you are a technology company that specializes in real estate.
So basically, I always say to people, I remember when you first said it, we're a marketing company that sells real estate.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I didn't get it. I didn't like, oh, okay, it's Ryan for saying that. I owe you an apology. I get it. I had an epiphany maybe a couple of months ago. I sent you a long-winded text message that I'm proud of what you're doing, and I get it, and I'm using it, and
It's
it
working.
makes a lot of sense.
It works.
The last pitch that we went on, when I started speaking this, the verbiage and everything, the woman goes, "Oh my God, that's what I want. I wanted a PR group." I'm like, "That's us. We're a PR
she
group."
was
I
like,
said, "This is what Ryan always
almost-
says." I get it. So kudos to you. You've changed my world and the way I think about real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I appreciate that.
Took me 3 years to do that, but
Yeah. I
Well,
think
it's evolving. There's always different things happening in real estate. Every decade something different. So you have to just get on board with it.
Yeah, it's like I think Ted Turner said it, where he said, early to bed, early to rise, work your butt off and advertise,
I like that.
right? And in our world, yes, we advertise, but in the palm of your hand, we are now media companies. And so, we built this initially as, a media company that sold real estate. And I think every major brand out there now is a media company that sells a product, whether it's
a brand,
beverage,
right.
that's a
Seriously.
media company that sells
$2 billion.
sells a prebiotic soda for
Everyone's
$2
a
million.
brand. Everyone wants to create a brand.
Yeah, because it creates
Awareness.
Because it creates awareness. It creates an attention engine for people, and it becomes a relatively easy pitch.
Right.
I just came from a pitch for a large building. I'm like, listen, it depends on what you want to do. If you just want to design a building, then you don't need us. But if you want to design and sell it, right, then you need a firm that does both,
Right.
and that has the largest megaphone. Now, at the end of the day, there's like no secret sauce through social media that's going to get you to sell an apartment for $10 million when it's worth $2 million. But if it's worth 2, maybe we can get you 2.1, 2.2, 2.3 or more a lot faster than anybody else. And you're only going to know that if you go a different option, right? And it doesn't work.
No, I've been telling people, I have this one, I'm waiting for the answer in a couple of days. Like, well, we're interviewing a few people. I'm like, interview all you want. There's one thing that we have that they can't bring to the table. They're like, what? I said, we have Ryan Serhant. They don't.
He does.
And we do. We have you on a global and right in our backyard in New York City. And it's the truth. It's all about marketing. You're the master of marketing. You're doing a great job.
That's why I think we've had a lot of success opening up and down the East Coast so far. That's why Arizona was such a unique test case for us. And not to say that like we're testing it because we open it, it's going great because we're not close, right? So it is geographically far away, and to see kind of our value proposition working well there, and to see that growth happening, and to see it happening organically in a way that no other firm has ever done in a market like that. It's been pretty wild to see, which to your point then does validate our growth into other markets. Which
you're changing real estate and a whole different platform, which is great.
Yeah, why not? Life is short.
For those,
I wish I had the Serhant effect back in the 80s.
Might as well take it.
I'd be retired today.
Okay, so for someone listening that wants to start, whether they're going into real estate or a brand, if you were starting from scratch today, what are the first 3 things you'd do to grow your brand online?
Well, the first thing I would do is, if I'm starting from scratch, I wouldn't do it by myself.
Yeah.
Like, you can be as loud as you want on the internet. If you have no success to back up that megaphone, then you're just screaming nothingness into a megaphone. So you don't want to do that. I would definitely join a team.
Yeah.
And I would align myself with that know, like, and trust factor of another team. So I'd like junior agents joining your team, right?
Yeah.
Or any other team that has a brand awareness in that hyper local market. And I would brand myself alongside that team. And then you want to become the role before you are the role. So if your goal is to be the number 1 agent on a team, that's what you're branding yourself as. So the first things first is you join a team, right? The second thing is you really want to create an understanding of who you are every single year. So I'm the one who does what this year. I'm the open house queen. I'm the cold caller king. I'm the downtown specialist. What are you? You can do a lot of different things, but you should peg yourself to something that is memorable.
Find that niche.
Yeah,
right?
you got to find the niche. There are riches and niches, and then let those clients take you elsewhere. Like that. If I could go back in time and tell myself one thing to do, it would be stop trying to be the master of none. Where I'm like, I'll do this, and then I'll do this, and then I also do this, and then
yeah. But when you're young, you just don't listen. You just try to figure it out.
But if I could physically go back in time and I saw myself in the future, that would have freaked me out so much. I would have been like, I guess I'm listening to you. So I would find my niche, right? Riches and niches, and then be promoting that across brand, and then have a super clear voice across platforms. And just make sure you are consistent. Like, that consistency is key. Even if no one ever looks at, reaches out, listens to anything, those 3 people that see that video, that see this, right? 2 of them, 1 person could change your life.
That's what most new agents miss, consistency. Yeah. But that's the same advice they gave you when you got started.
I was going to say, I was 23.
She didn't want to come work with me in New Jersey. I'm like, all right, I get that. And I said, just go on a team.
So first piece of advice
you'll make less money, but you have more opportunities and you'll grow.
And you'll learn.
And she's been on many teams, so it's good.
And I want to...
She listened to me.
I want to talk about that. It's a little off my topic, but this is very important because I believed like teams were, I still do, like a prestigious thing. Like I wanted to be on one. I wanted to learn from the best. In New Jersey, like I said, it's not so popular yet. And as we're expanding and we're growing, I want people to hear from the master himself, why should they join a team? Because I'm in a role of like agent retention right now and hiring. And the opposition I'm getting is like, well, I don't want to give that amount away. And why should I? But it's like, my dad's like, your 0 of 0 is nothing,
of course.
Right?
So tell agents who might be wanting to join a team or the Adamo group, what is the benefit?
Well, the first benefit is culture, community, right? The salesperson business is an incredibly lonely business. The percent of agents who go at it by themselves, who get out of the business within 2 years, is like over 90%. The percent of agents who get into the business by joining a team, who get out of the business within the first 2 years, is well under 50%. So your chances of succeeding
right,
by investing into a community and that culture where you're going to build habits, where you're going to build discipline, where there's going to be some kind of book of business, whether it's lead flow that's coming to you through the book of business that the team has, or it's just the ability to use that team's name in your meetings and pitches because you've never done this before, are going to really, really help you grow. Right. But you got to be committed. If you're the type of person who'd cut their nose to spite their face, you care about every $3, then it's not going to matter if you're on this team, or by yourself. You should just go back to a 9-to-5 because sales is then not for you.
No.
I agree.
Yeah.
You need to be long-term greedy.
Hot committed.
Well, the same thing applied to us when we became part of your team, the Serhant, is that our business has elevated. We now opened up our markets to stuff that was, let's say, more challenging in the past.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just a little
You've made it easier.
And thank you to you. Yeah.
So to that point, thanks. That's the hardest conversation to have with people because you're asking them to take a bet on themselves while also taking a bet on us if they put in the work, right? So a lot of times agents will come to us and they'll come from like a capped model, or their own thing. They're running their own group. And they're like, I don't pay any splits. I don't need any of this stuff.
Right.
And they're like, well, okay, let me look at my last 12 months of GCI. Well, how much? What it has? No. I'm not focused on your last 12 months. Right? Let's focus on the next 24 months, right? If we grow your business and you're able to grow your business, now sometimes you're going to have markets that dip and inventory is down. So maybe it's 36 months, maybe there's 5 years from now, and you look long term. How many bigger sales are you going to do? How are you going to raise your price point, move into new markets, do more business? Now all of a sudden you're making a lot more money, and the math starts to math a lot more,
and the egos start to develop.
Yeah,
but that's just human nature. That's how it is.
I think the it's just like working with sellers.
Yes.
Right. I think you can have ego, you can have overpricing, but they're both solvable with over communication.
Right.
It's just hard. Like you've got to be willing to put in the time on that communication with your team members.
Yeah.
Right. And always remind them like, hey, remember where we were? Remember where we are now?
Right.
Like have those goals, have those check-ins, have that communication clear. Otherwise resentment builds up real easy and the anger and the hatred builds up. Yeah, because it's all here. Right. The facts and the logic sits in the back of the head. That's all back here. You forget that. You're like, oh, right. No, my life is better. No. I hate you. Like that's up here in the front.
But also we have to learn to be more selective. Personalities make a difference. If they master your brand, and if they don't get it from the beginning, is just don't start the relationship. And that's where we start. That's
when Michelle and Todd, we met with them early on before we came here. They said, we just like to hire good people. Yeah. And I'm like, that's simple, but just goes a long way.
Right. Yeah, and you got to listen to pink flags. That's probably been the biggest.
I like that.
The biggest mistake that I've made is I end up giving people the benefit of the doubt because I just want things to work.
That's him.
I'm like, no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah, but
I'm more of the hard ass.
I come from a mindset when it wasn't team, we owned a company. It was a numbers game. You hire a bunch of people, and then maybe 50% pan out, and then you wean it out, and you keep hiring it. It's a lot of work. And I was talking to Paul, your broker here earlier. And I don't mean to insult anyone, but when you own a company or run a team, it's like running a daycare center. And I'm tired of running a daycare center. So we are being more selective. We're just looking for
taking a page out of your book.
Yeah, you want to work with people who have a clear vision of their future selves.
Exactly.
And like what does that look like?
That's the word.
Yeah.
Respect.
And then you have an alignment on goals.
Exactly.
And expectations that you have of each other.
Right.
If you have clear expectations, if there's clear communication, if you're okay being super, super, super honest, every relationship should be successful. Right. As long as you treat each other with respect. I think there's a lot of people who
that's major.
Who end up dropping the respect angle because they just go on the defense and they let the ego do the talking and then they don't know what to do. And those tend to be pink flags.
Or they think it's a weakness. They misinterpret that.
So if you're an agent in Bergen County, join the Adamo group at Serhant.
Yeah.
Okay, back to social, because I just want to ask you about video quickly. You are the social media king. And just like cash is king in real estate, video is king in social, correct? Like, tell us about that.
Yeah, now it is. I mean, photo is still important too, but if you look across all our platforms, we are 90% video. It's just what people are looking for.
Right.
It tells a story.
You want to be entertained.
Our medium is so visual.
Why is it such a game changer?
Well, I think the platforms all changed.
Right.
So I think we grow with the platforms, and maybe the next thing will be going back to photo. Who knows?
Right. But right now,
you have to ebb and you have to flow. Yeah, right now it's it's short term vertical video, short form vertical video, and that's just what works well. And you have to be aggressive with it, right? And you have to make sure everything looks as beautiful as possible. That makes a big difference.
Right, presentation.
But there's different. Everybody kind of has their own niche, right? And they're different. Kind of what I say, like be the one who. Kind of quality about them. But people walk through real estate. They don't just stare at it when they're buying it. So you want to be able to provide the best opportunity for people to have that same feeling across social media.
Well, we're selling emotions. People buying emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to kind of display that through videos, through a campaign, or tell a story. I always say, I just want to sell houses, and I have to be so theatrical about it. So because of these different platforms, but she's pushing every button for me, and I'm just going along with it.
Well, it's like the short form, and you can see the engagement too, like the house with the bags, right?
Yes,
like that house. Like there was, we made
Seven Stokes Farm,
beautiful house. We made a couple different assets when we were there together, right? One asset was like your standard walkthrough property tour, which was great. Like it was fine. The one that got the absolute most engagement is when I pretended to throw my phone over the roof.
Yes. Right. That was incredible.
And most people saw that.
Yeah.
Most people saw that. To this day, people bring that up to
I think
me.
it's almost like 30 million views.
That was so genius, that video.
No, it is.
Yeah, Danny's like, no, I think 30 million is exaggeration.
No, I'm talking about the one with the bag.
Oh.
It's
when you were in her closet.
The bag. Yes. Also that one.
Yeah.
Man, we made a lot of content in that house.
You were on the skateboard with the Birkin.
Yeah. Listen, however you can get in front of the target market, right? That's what we're trying to do. Like when I first started doing media for real estate, it was 2016. I'd done $1 Million Listing for 4 years on the air. I saw that people were interested in real estate through video, through TV. Right. It's like, well, this takes a year. Okay, how could I do this by tomorrow?
Right. So
let's get a videographer and let's start doing property tours. I'd seen a couple people do it on YouTube a little bit, but like let's elevate that and have fun with it. Like what is MTV Cribs meets $1 Million Listing New York meets active real estate broker in the space? And that's kind of like the math that I did and just said, okay, let's go do it. And back then in 2016, 17, 18, it was all about long form. Anything short form, people wouldn't really watch. There wasn't yet. I think there was. Remember Instagram TV, IGTV had started. Like there was no TikTok. Like so, there was YouTube and then photos. So we had to go,
and then live.
Horizontal. Yeah. So then horizontal. It was horizontal video across YouTube, and then everything changed during COVID, and we went heavily into vertical short form, and then you just have to ebb and flow.
Listen, I've seen you do the craziest stuff. You'll do anything.
What's anything?
What's the craziest thing that someone's asked you to do or you haven't done yet or you want to?
What is the craziest
goal
for marketing?
Just to get engagement. What's in your radar?
Seven Stokes Farm. When I
that was nothing.
You do that one by myself. What's the craziest thing? Oh, you know what? We when we opened up Connecticut.
Yes.
I had like a few. There's 2 houses in Connecticut. I don't know why. It was so hot on each of those days that I was there. And one house, it was like the first big deal we did. It was $10 million. It was so unbelievably hot. The house was an estate sale. There was no AC anywhere. It was awful. And at the end, in my suit, I just went into the pool.
That's not the first time you've done that.
That's not the first time I've done that. But I went into that pool and then I got Yuri to like take his shirt off and like push me around in the inner tube.
I love it.
That was a solid 2019, 2020 video.
Was that the same house you had with the horse?
There's another one, but then there was also I've done lots of things, sir. But the other one I'm thinking of, I think it was a house in Westport where the guy made me get on a jet ski in my suit and jet ski around in my suit.
Are you scared to do any of these things?
Jet ski? No.
But like jump out of a plane, ride a horse?
Jump out of a plane, but not to sell a house. We went we did helicoptering over the guy that created the Discovery Channel, John Hendricks, his ranch in Colorado. That was probably like, I'll always remember that property tour. I think that was summer 2019, I think is what it was. We went out there and hung out of a helicopter as we like did that property tour because we had to show like these are the mountains that come with this house. It was insane.
Love that.
Did you sell it?
No.
Let me change the
Great
topic.
video though.
Anyway,
It's all
will you
about
take a
visual.
helicopter to the Upper Grand in Rockley, our big new development coming up?
Nice.
We got to land something on there, something
Okay.
big.
The property is there.
Okay, so also congratulations on wrapping up filming for season 2. We're excited to watch.
Thanks.
Fans are excited. What can you tease about this season? Any major surprises or drama?
Pure. It's all drama.
Right?
It's all,
Well,
that's right.
totally unscripted, right?
Listen, they started filming at the end of September for season 2, right at our sales huddle that we had in person. And they went until a couple weeks ago. So like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Like it's a lot of time. And so I don't know exactly how it's going to turn out yet. I haven't seen anything yet. All I know is a lot of just terrible things happened.
Do you just film and then hope for the best when you watch the editing?
Yeah, like they film. They have a certain kind of shoot window, which I guess is October, November, December, January, February, March-ish. So it's like basically 5 to 6 months. It's a long time to shoot 4 days a week, and then they look at everything in a big editing bay to kind of see like. It's all unscripted, so
Right.
who knows what's going to happen? These are
Right.
going to sell, not sell. People get ready, whatever, and they just see which storylines kind of go to the top. Like season 1, we filmed for a year.
Wow.
Okay, a year, and there was lots of story, lots of people involved. We filmed in Pennsylvania. We filmed when we opened Pennsylvania for season 1. We filmed in the Hamptons for a long time, and it was all cut. And when the show came
God.
out, it was very streamlined and very clean and very simple. It was. I'm starting my own company, and it was Ryan versus Jonathan, and it was Chloe versus Jade.
Mm-hmm.
Will they get to the end? And I get it. As much as I was like, oh my God, my sellers in the Hamptons are going to murder me.
Right.
People love drama.
But they,
Because
and
it
they,
didn't make the cut. So
Right.
they're not-
and but
yeah.
they love the storyline. They love just
Yeah.
being able to follow. Like, will they? Won't they?
Right.
Is he or isn't he? What's gonna happen? And they want the cliffhangers and everything. So I don't know what's gonna make it into season 2. All I know is there was enough. We filmed enough to make like 100 seasons.
Wow.
Let me ask you. Netflix has
pain.
opened a huge compound in Jersey.
Yeah.
Correct? That's going to be a big benefit to you, isn't it, being so close?
I don't think so because I think that's for studio like scripted stuff.
I
Oh,
think
I
he's
see.
trying to ask, when are we going to be owning New Jersey?
Oh, listen, I'm ready for it. I'm ready.
Let's
Are
own
we
every
going to
market.
at least have another big fun party
Yes.
for season 2?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
We'll do a big party.
The impact of reality TV on your career I want to talk about. I don't know if you remember, but I actually, not just for $1 Million Listing, I used to be your neighbor on Renwick. And I'd watch you run over to Dog Pound at wee hours of the morning that I do not wake up for. But from $1 Million Listing to Netflix, how has reality TV shaped your career? What's been the biggest evolution from season 1 to season 2 of owning Manhattan?
I mean, I wouldn't be here if it were not for reality TV. Like I owe a lot to Bravo and to those people that were involved in that. I think it was kismet that we all came together
Right.
because I had an eye for production and I knew what to do in front of a camera while still being myself and raw and real. And I also had an eye for being an entrepreneur and wanting to build and use it. Like all of those things have to kind of come together. Otherwise you're just seeing people smack each other, and that can be good for the short term. It's not
Right.
great for the long term. $1 Million Listing was a format show. There was a couple of us. It wasn't just me, as you know, right? There was a couple of us, and it was
I used to work with one.
it was 10 years of my life.
Yeah.
Right. And it was, you would shoot every year. And I had my wedding spin-off show. I had my house renovation spin-off show. I had Serhant we did for a whole year.
You did
like
a lot.
There was 4
Yeah.
TV shows that we did with Bravo that were a lot of work that helped me just sort of build up to what we ended up launching here.
Right.
It's like, okay, so what do I do with all this brand equity now? If I say Serhant, a lot of people around the world know, oh, the real estate guy, right? Okay, well, there's only so much I can do with that by myself. How can I help other people now?
Right.
I can't sell everywhere. So let's take this now and let's turn this into something much bigger. So we started the company in 2020, and we left Bravo because it didn't make sense anymore, and we created this pitch for a show called House of Serhant and took that to Netflix and Amazon Prime, Peacock, Hulu, HBO Max. We had 3 offers for House of Serhant. That was kind of similar to the show that it ended up becoming, but somewhat different. And then we shot that all in 2023, right? The show came out in 2024. We've been shooting season 2
Right.
ever since. Netflix gives us total freedom and like we
That's
can do
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
anything. Like you'll even see in season 2, at least I think so. There's it'll feel even more different than season 1, which you have to
Like
look
you're
at.
more warmed up to the
Yeah, but like even like the format and the way you tell the story, like the audience are just they're too smart now. Like you see Adolescence, which is the number 1 show on Netflix right now. It's 4 episodes, all shot in one take, and will be number 1 for a long time because no one's ever seen it before.
That's yeah.
Like all the shows that are successful right now, unless it's comfort food, right? For the most part, are things you just haven't seen before. So you know what? I'm going to give it a try.
Out of the box.
Otherwise, there's too
Your
much.
career's been very exciting.
What?
Your career's been extremely exciting.
I try to
journeys, yeah.
I try to excite other people.
Do you see SoHo production in the future?
I mean, that's what Studios is.
I know.
Studios is here. Studios is a credit on the Netflix show.
We're one of the believers of Studios. We have
That's right.
There you go. You
our
got
own
Suites.
studios. Yeah.
Yes.
And I do have to give you a shout out though, like being that I have been around the block on teams and I've seen from the inside, for people who are just looking at you on the outside, you were probably one of the only people who you're not just the face of your brand, like you're actually still involved in the business part, which is very rare though.
Yeah.
It is.
I have to be.
Yeah.
I don't know what else I would do with my life.
Okay, so before wrapping up, we have 5 more minutes of your time.
Let's have a little fun.
Want to go to some fun rapid fire questions.
Who are the next guests? Who are you going? Is it me and then Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I know you're setting the bar pretty high. I don't know who's going to come on next.
Do you have any ideas and suggestions?
You should go up to like New Jersey royalty. There's you're friends with the housewives. They're
We
there.
are. We might get Donald Trump on.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm kidding.
There you go.
All right, here's the
busy
rapid
these
fire.
days.
So, what New York City restaurant have you been gatekeeping?
Gatekeeping? Oh man, I don't eat out as much.
I was just gonna say, do you go out to dinner?
I'm a creature of habit. Like I eat the same thing every day.
What is that?
All the time. I'll on a weekday I'll eat egg whites, ham, avocado, protein shake. Then I have protein shake, and then I have protein shake, beef, corn.
We are not looking.
Tell them what I eat.
We are not looking to Ryan for fun restaurants to go out to.
I'll go to like.
If you want to have fun one night, where would you go? Where you want to go?
I like steak.
Me too.
Okay,
Yeah,
we
I'll
love
eat steak.
steak.
There's good.
A nice ribeye.
There's a good, a great ribeye. There's a good place by my house in Brooklyn. I
take
think
you to
it's a
the farm
franchise. I think
in
it's like
Jersey.
Bobby Van's.
Oh, God.
There's a restaurant behind my house called Rucola, which is really cool.
Okay.
Fun, unique dishes.
You like Italian food?
Yeah, I do like Italian food. That's why I like you guys.
I'll have to cook for
thank
you. What is your go-to date night spot with your wife?
So, these questions are a lot.
You don't have to answer this.
You know where she wants to go to next? I'll tell you. Is Masa. She likes going to fun places, and you know why I'm okay with it, even though that's a bankruptcy restaurant.
Yeah.
Because every piece of rice is like $600 at that place. Last time I took her there, and it was a couple years ago, we went, and this couple sat next to us, and she had like the largest diamond ring on I've ever seen in my life. And every time I see that, I always assume it's fake.
Right.
Because I'm like, dude,
I
people.
would think.
Yeah,
that.
I'd like, I don't know. Everything's fake these days. I don't believe anybody or anything. But you could kind of tell that they were real.
Right.
She looked over. She kind of recognized us. Her fiance, not from the United States, has no idea who we are. Amelia starts a conversation with her. This is a couple years ago. Starts a conversation with her. Start talking. Hey, we get their information. You just propose. Amazing. Where do you live? 157 West 57. Oh, great. We do a lot of deals in that building. Amazing. Hey, if you ever want to get yourself a new marriage, home, you let me know. We leave. We go out of there. That night actually. I remember that it was that night. It was late. It was like 11:30. I didn't see it till the next morning. He emailed me and said maybe it was serendipity that we met each other. I was actually thinking about getting us a new apartment because we're going to get married. Let me know if there's anything kind of in our area. We're looking, and we sold him a full floor at Central Park Tower for $50 million.
You owe your wife.
$50 million.
You are.
You owe her. Thank you for date night.
Well, I think more than that.
Yeah,
you owe a commission. Yeah. Think about that.
She knows.
Well, let it get licensed.
And then we
first.
went to that wedding. We went to that wedding.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we were like part of the family now.
You missed out on the Italian royal wedding though in Venice.
I know. This was years ago. My life was a little bit slower at that time. But you know what that also taught me though, and what I tell every agent too, like even on your worst day, like your life can change based on one conversation.
Yeah,
it's true.
Right. Like, and I'll say too, to all of your junior agents as well, like your number one job is to create new relationships. Mm-hmm. Like I cannot stress it any more than that. For my first 10 years in the business, I was doing $1 million listing and all that. But my number one job every day was I was meeting new private bankers, wealth managers, attorneys, divorce attorneys, every single day. I met 2 today. It's still just part of my DNA. I don't know how to go to
Always
work
be
without doing
networking,
it.
right?
I feel like you'll be like the 80-year-olds that my dad's going to be still showing apartments or getting out there and selling.
Yeah, but
Like you're not gonna give it up.
Like as an example, one of those private wealth managers, I met cold email from me to him. We talked for the first time in 2018. Okay, that was 7 years ago. He gets my newsletters, I think. Haven't really done a great job of following up. A lot's been going on. But as we started this, January of this year, do you know this story?
No.
Oh, January of this year, I'm dead sick. I had the flu, awful. Just like everybody in the city got sick in
I
January.
remember speaking to you.
I saw that you had the flu.
Yeah, I died. Okay, the worst. He emails me. Hey, trying to ring your phone number, which was my old number, my old company.
Oh my God.
I have a client who's looking at Palm Beach. I want to connect you right away. He'll only work with you though. Is that okay? I'm like, I guess so. And I'm dying. I get on the phone.
Yeah.
He tells me who the client is. I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, can I conference him in? I'm like, yes. Immediately, I'm no longer sick. And the guy wanted to buy this place in Palm Beach. That was a Friday. By Sunday, we were in contract for a lot in Palm Beach on the ocean for just under
you gonna
$200
tell
million.
us
Can we know who it is or how much? Nothing.
No, it was in the Wall Street Journal. It was in the papers.
All right, we'll look it up.
Yeah.
We're like under a rock on that one, I guess.
Wait, before you have your next question, who's the most interesting person you've met through real estate?
You.
Good answer.
You, both of you, by far.
All right.
By far.
Now let's
I
be
don't know if that's a
serious.
compliment.
Listen, I don't know. I think we're all doing this to be successful, right?
Interesting person, different, unique, out of the ordinary.
Yeah, they're all out of the ordinary.
Yeah,
I
especially
met
when
So
like,
diplomatic.
I met a such super unique guy. Was showing houses one time, and I was like a little bit scared. He was super funky. He was in like a purple velour tracksuit.
Oh, no.
He wanted to talk about the house. I couldn't really tell if he was real. It was like really kind of sketchy. I don't know. He had a really thick, heavy accent, but really, really, really nice and peculiar in so many ways. And then he brought his partner who would only wear bow ties, and I was like, man, you guys are so fun and nice and unique. I don't know, but are you real? I have no idea. Turns out their family owns a company called Longchamp
Oh my gosh.
for the bags and all that stuff. And so it's like, wow, that's fun.
Cool
That's what you
people.
get to meet
Yeah.
in this
Yeah.
business.
I like very unassuming.
You got
Yeah.
more?
If you had to travel completely off the grid, where would you go? Like you're
New Zealand.
Wow, that was quick.
Yeah,
That's where we went to
know
on
that
our
answer.
honeymoon. It was the best place ever.
Wow, really?
I would go
Back
there.
since?
No, it's so far. It
Yeah.
takes a day to get there.
Yeah.
I got what I think was like deep vein thrombosis in my legs. I could not stop moving my legs the minute we landed. It was awful. I had to go to the hospital in North
What?
Island, New Zealand.
How many hours was the flight?
18.
Wait, you went to the hospital when you got there?
I
On your-
couldn't. I've never try stretching your
That would happen
quad.
to me.
Wait,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't sit still for an hour.
Yeah, and like I was trying to. I stayed as calm as I possibly could, but we got there and I'm like, man, my legs hurt. I need to go for a walk. I was on a plane for too long because you fly for 5 hours to LA, whatever it is, and you get on another plane for 18 hours. Okay, it's brutal. And then I guess I just didn't walk as much as I should have on the plane and stretch as much.
Circulation.
And yeah,
That's
and then the next day and
horrible.
the next day, it literally felt like my legs were on fire. Like I couldn't walk. I couldn't move. It was the worst pain I've ever felt. Went to the hospital and they gave me like the greatest New Zealand drugs of all time.
Wow. Way to
Yeah.
kick off your honeymoon.
How was
It
your
was
flight
rough.
back?
I like stood.
You stood-
Yeah, standing room.
Make the same
I was
mistake twice.
stretching.
Yeah.
That was 2016. I wasn't doing a lot of international trips back then. I wasn't doing all the speaking that I do
Yeah.
now. Like I got those socks. You know,
compression
after that,
socks?
compression
Yeah.
socks, whether they do anything or not. But anyway, I lived.
My husband actually had a heat stroke on our honeymoon. I thought I was going home a widow.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Horrifying. All right, Greece or New York City?
Greece,
Yeah. Craziest thing we asked you that. Okay, Netflix or Bravo?
Netflix.
Okay, and to wrap it up, the last text to your wife, read it out loud.
No.
Unless you'll get in trouble.
My text said, "Okay, she might be in bed before I get home," which is just about
nice.
Xena.
Okay, wait. Go a week without your driver or a week without your assistant?
I'd go a week. What I would choose to go? I'd
Yeah.
choose to go a week without my driver. A week without the assistant's a
Without
rough
your-
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can Uber.
You drive,
I can
right?
walk. Yeah,
You have a license?
I do drive. Like
You like to
twice a
drive in the
month.
city?
No.
No?
I don't really drive that much.
I want
do
a
drive. I'm
driver.
just annoyed.
Yeah.
See, I'm the opposite. I have to drive. 'Cause
Okay,
Suburban,
no
that's what
one
I
should
drive.
ever drive with him, by the way.
Yeah.
No, it is. Like the three of us on the way here, it is like that should be filmed, but we would be canceled.
Again, she's exaggerating.
Kiss, Marry, Kill. Emilio Balato's Pastis or for Charles Prime.
What did you just say?
Like, you know, F, Marry, Kill. I'm just trying to be PC.
I didn't get that either, so I feel
Kiss,
bad.
Marry,
I feel
Kill. Have
good.
you never played that?
What's Emilio's who?
You need to
Balato's
get out to restaurants.
Are these restaurants you just named?
Emilio
Yes.
Balato's?
Okay.
You don't know
love
it.
I'm sure.
I need to take you if you haven't. It's
I
like
don't
you
get
go
it.
in
All
the
I do is work. I don't,
Ryan, you
yeah,
work
but that's
out.
where you take
Yeah.
clients. That's how I got a lot of clients
I
going
bring
out.
clients here.
Okay, I am taking you to Emilio Balato's if you've never been.
Pretty sure I've been there. What
It's
were
on the
other two?
Bowery. There's like the old man that
Yeah,
sits out front on
I'm
the chair.
sure.
You get walked behind the kitchen if
It's
you're
a dive.
special.
I'm
It's
sure.
amazing.
I'm sure. Oh yes.
You
yes.
have to. Okay.
Yeah. Did
See,
Taylor
all
Swift
right.
go there with Travis
Yes.
Kelce?
I think-
Everyone
yeah.
goes there. Yes.
I went there.
Jonas Brothers.
Well, Jonas Brothers were there when we were there,
Yeah.
but Chef Anthony's the best. You have to get there.
Okay.
been
Okay.
there.
All right.
Well, he didn't answer the question.
Who was the other one? Amelia.
I don't think we could do this if you're not like a
I'm
restaurant
not the
guy.
restaurant.
You're not a
Okay.
foodie.
All right.
Let's change
Trust
it.
your gut or follow the plan.
follow the plan. For sure.
Follow the plan.
Yeah.
Everyone
Your
listening.
gut will lie to you. Evolution has not caught up to the world we live in today.
No.
Well, a huge thank you to you, Ryan.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
for being our very first guest on Off Market
Yay.
with the Adamos.
Very exciting. Thank you.
We did it.
If you love today's episode, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and stay up to date with all things Off Market with the Adamos and real estate. And our 971st subscriber will get a free date to follow around Ryan for the day.
As your assistant.
Right?
Cut the video. Cut the podcast right now.
Ryan, we're going for Italian food if you want to join us.
Yeah, thank you.
I would.
He's going to have a
Fine,
protein
thank
shake.
you. It was fun.
That was great. Thank you.
Of course.